Hello and welcome to episode 15 of the Gamers Watch podcast. My name is Harry and I am joined as always by Shaun.
Morning.
Or afternoon or evening or whatever time it is wherever you are listening to this. Now this is our season finale, so we will be back in 2 weeks' time with the next season and we've got a little surprise for the next episode. But first thing that we both want to say is a massive thank you to every single person that listens to this podcast. We've got listeners in I think about 30 different countries now.
That is insane.
It's ridiculous. And we've just got over, I think, 1,300 downloads. And I think we're close to 1,400. And we're averaging like 100 downloads a week. And we're part of this podcast network that has somebody from the BBC in it. And the 50th most listened to science podcast in the world. It's ridiculous. And we would not be in the position we're at now without every single person that is listening to this show. So a massive, massive thank you to everybody for tuning in, for sharing this podcast with your vicar, with your rabbi, with your taxman. Who should they share it with this week, Shaun?
That's a good one. Your local vineyard.
Your local vineyard. Well, that ties in quite well because we're both drinking a lovely glass of red wine.
Sophisticated drink for the season
it's
finale.
It's sophisticated for the season finale. It's a big occasion, so we're getting pissed a little bit more classy time.
I'm drinking it at the same rate that I would drink the beers. So the episode we're recording next that I won't give too much away for is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, that will really be a drunk cast.
I'm going to be really drunk by then.
So thank you to everybody, and in advance we apologise for Shaun being an absolute mess by the end of this podcast.
On our I don't even know what we'd call this. It's a special episode, but what's it called? When there's it's not mid-season.
I would say
it's football games in between. It's not pre-season.
Let's call it the Super Podcast. Yeah?
Supercast.
The Supercast. And so there is a Supercast.
World Series Supercast.
The World Series Supercast. There is a World Series Supercast next week. We're bringing in a few guests. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. And it also ties in with the game that will be releasing, what would it be? 8 days from when this episode comes out?
Yes.
I think so.
No. Yes. I don't know.
But it will be fun.
Comes out the 1st of May, I'm pretty sure.
Comes out on the 1st of May, which is some point in the future. But
I think that's a Friday. It'll be 6 days, I think, because it's a Friday, isn't it? And we release
And then the episode comes out the day after. So it'll be 6 days from now. I'm glad that we cleared that up. And if you're listening to this after the day that this releases, God knows when that game will release, or even if it ever will release, or the world might end, who knows. But if the world does end, just before it does, please review us on iTunes. It really does help us out. Thank you.
Great plug.
Yeah, it's the best plugs. Now, we are changing things up slightly for this episode, aren't we, Shaun?
Yes.
So we're not going to be starting with the news straight away. We have to, firstly, what do we have to tell Paul?
Get a fucking life, Paul.
3 weeks in a row.
I can't believe it. I'm going to have to change up my ways for season 2.
What was your clue, Shaun?
My clue was, how does that giant skyrock always stay above us and never fall down?
And what was that game?
And the game was Moonlighter. Because Moonlighter...
A game that we had never even heard of.
I hadn't heard of it until 10 minutes before recording the episode, and I went on the Game Pass app and was like, I can make something with Moonlighter.
See, now, when you told me that one, it made me pick an easy one. But I wish I hadn't now, because my one was those amphibians are kicking the shit out of each other, and that was Battletoads, obviously, because they're toads and they're battling each other. But Paul, and wife of Paul, who, by the way, I know what her name is now, but she will always be... No, don't say her name. I'll bleep that out. She will always be known as wife of Paul. So that's her name from now on.
Her name's either wife of Paul or... Every time we say her real name, it's just...
It just bleeps out. So, thank you, Paul and wife of Paul, for ruining our game again. However...
We're going to have to do like a dynamic difficulty thing. So everyone else gets our normal ones, and then we're like, and Paul, and wife of Paul...
Here's one in French.
This one's for you.
Translate this, you fucker.
Yeah, not just French. We've translated it through Google Translate about 10 times first, so it makes no sense.
Yeah, and the answer is going to be given via the medium of interpreted dance.
Or the automated message that we had in our last episode.
Yeah, because we did get a bit drunk in our last one, and we forgot to say that we were playing Genesis Noir. But do not worry, because we will be talking about that shortly.
Oh, we will.
We will indeed. Should we move on to the news, Shaun?
Yes.
So, really, really, really fucking frustratingly, is sort of some news broke about an hour after our last podcast had finished recording.
Every time.
We're only going to sort of talk about it very quickly, but it is the rumour that Hideo Kojima possibly could be working with Microsoft to create a new IP. I don't believe it personally. I don't think it'll happen, but who knows?
I think it's one of those ones where I could see merit to it. Like, if it does happen now, I'll be like, oh, yeah, they need to reach Japan a bit more. But
the rumour is that Microsoft want to reach Japan a bit more, and Sony weren't happy with the sales figures for Death Stranding. And
see, that's the bit I'm not sure about, because I don't actually know the sales figures for Death Stranding.
I don't think it met expectations, but when does a game ever meet expectations? EA wanted Dead Space 3 to sell 15 million copies, so when is a game ever going to meet its actual targets? It's never going to happen. But I don't know if I believe it or not. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, okay. I mean, I can't really say anything more because 2 weeks ago people reacted to this, and what are you going to do? You might make a game, you might not. And then everybody just went silent after about a day.
Yeah, it's one of those rumours where it could go either way. It's not like a ridiculous one that everyone starts believing, but it's also not one of the ones that is just like solid set on to happen.
Because there's a few rumours flying around at the moment in terms of Sega and Konami and Kojima, and I just want to take a quick second to talk about integrity in journalism, because it's something that we all need to have. You know, we're in a position where we have listeners who tune into our show to hear us discuss Xbox news, and what I would never want us to do is clearly not do our research, not look into things. And there's a rumour going around at the moment, and you've probably seen it, Shaun, and it's about Capcom and Sony have signed an agreement that stops Resident Evil from going to Game Pass, and it also stagnates the game on the Series X. And people have been going wild on this, and they've been throwing all sorts of accusations at Sony. And we've even been told just earlier in a tweet today that we should be defending Microsoft because we're a Game Pass podcast. Bullshit. So anybody that's spreading this absolute horseshit rumours should be ashamed of themselves. It's very clearly not a ploy to stop Resident Evil 8 from being put on Game Pass. What it is it's a boilerplate standard contract written by a company who have limited the game to not go on subscription services from day one. And Microsoft write contracts that are almost identical to this with almost every studio they develop. So when it comes to integrity of what we will and we won't say, it would have been very easy for us, would you not agree, Shaun, for us to run with this story, for us to bring out this podcast, to lambast Sony when the information is clearly wrong. And there's a lot of people on Twitter right now in positions of influence, let's say, with 5, 6, 7,000 followers on Twitter who are clearly blindsided by their allegiance to Microsoft, who are now spreading a false narrative. So when it comes to integrity of what we talk about, yeah, I might not like Desperados 3, but that's my opinion. That's my opinion. And I would never say that that is the only opinion that matters on that game. Because you, Shaun, you said it was the best game that you've played on Game Pass. And that's your opinion. But you can't have an opinion on a fact.
Yeah, I think it was probably actually my favourite game. Well, it released 2020, but I only played it this year. So I'd probably put it as my second favourite game of 2020 after Animal Crossing now.
And here's the thing, is we can have differences of opinions. And an opinion is based on a personal experience. A fact is a fact. And the fact is that Resident Evil 8 is not on Game Pass because Capcom don't want it to be, and they've signed a contract probably identical to the one they've signed with Microsoft, but that one's not been leaked. And I think it's very dangerous to be running people's fury through Twitter just to try and get a few likes and retweets. And I will say that one person that pointed me in the right direction, who we spoke about last episode, was Jay Fonz, because it very easily could have left egg on our faces, and he said, this is the situation, this is the people that I've spoken to, it's not true, don't run with this story on your episode. So absolutely massive fair plays to Fonz, because again, people think of him as an Xbox content creator. He's not. Like us, he's a gamer first, he plays Xbox second. So I just wanted to clear that up. Yeah. So Harry's soapbox is put away until Genesis Noir gets mentioned, and then Harry and Shaun both stand on the soapbox.
That's a joint soapbox, that one.
That is a big soapbox.
Treat.
So shall we move on to some good news?
Mm-hmm.
Shaun, what's the good news? The first bit of good news.
I was going to say, which one we put in first? I'll say, actually free to play. Is that the one you're on about?
That is the one.
So as of the 21st, all Xbox players will be able to play free-to-play online games without an active Xbox Live subscription, and figures show that Game Pass subscribers have risen from 15 million in September to 23 million in April. So that's 8 million in 7 months, and they think it's set to hit 30 million by Holiday 21, which is
massive.
Sort of November, December time for non-Americans that don't know what holiday means.
Which is when Halo Infinite's going to launch.
Hopefully.
So potentially 30 million people access to Halo Infinite straight away.
Gotta stick it hopefully in front of Halo Infinite stuff at the moment.
Yeah, but that's some amazing news. Now, the Game Pass subscriber numbers, they're not verified by Microsoft, but they have been verified because we do our due diligence and we don't just spread rumours without, looking into them. There are people within the industry and within the Microsoft industry who have confirmed these numbers today. That is massive. 23 million people on Game Pass right now.
Yeah, 23 million subscribers.
Do you know what I'd really like to see? I'd like to see the breakdown figures between Xbox, PC, and where more people are, like if they are on Xbox, if they're on Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Series S. I would love to see those figures. I'm sure they will be released in due course.
That'd be cool, yeah. I would be interested to see how many solely PC Xbox Game Pass subscribers there are.
Yeah.
Because obviously, technically, we're Xbox Game Pass PC as well, because we got Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah, but to see, I'm sure there is a way that they can find out if they play on console or PC or both. I'm sure that there is a way of doing that.
Oh yeah, it will say to them as soon as they sign into account what they're on.
And on top of that, 100 more games have been added to Game Pass PC. Another 50 titles have been added to xCloud. I think 10 of them have got touchscreen controls. I think it's looking quite good for Microsoft at the moment.
Shaping up lovely for the summer.
It is. And there's some good games coming out. There's some really good ID Xbox games coming out. I've been playing Rain on Your Parade, which is just the right amount of ridiculous.
It looks... I haven't played it. I've only seen the
very Untitled Goose Game.
I was going to go Donut County.
It's a bit of both. Yeah, it's Donut County, Goose Game. It's just bonkers. I love it. It's good fun.
Go in the off season. Off season. That's the fucking word.
Off season
episode.
Off season episode. But there's some good games coming out. Second Extinction is launching on the 28th of April on Series X and Series S. That looks quite cool. There's a game called Gunk that looks quite good. That's due to come out soon as well. That looks pretty awesome.
Got FIFA 21 next month as well.
Yeah,
that's coming on to Game Pass.
So there's a lot to go with, which is quite good.
Creating your own custom Super League.
Yeah, very, very on point, Shaun. I like that. That was well played.
And then deleting your save data after 2 days.
Yeah, that's the normal thing that people do. Oh my god, a bear just walked past my house. Fucking hell.
A bear? We live in the southwest of England.
It was a dog that was... I'm not kidding.
It was a Doberman. Or like
No. It wasn't, mate. It
even.
Was massive. Mate, I'm not kidding. That was up to my shoulders. That was huge. Anyway.
Are you sat down?
I'm sat down.
So it was up to your shoulders because you sat down?
No. Because it's not in my house, is it, you dumbass?
No, but you said it's up to my shoulders.
Yeah, if I was stood up... I mean, I am only 3'8", so that's not really saying much.
Fucking bear.
It looked massive, mate.
Next time on
Lost. I think that's what we are. Should we get back on track? Because there's been
season finale.
There's been some news. Now, iOS has now got access to xCloud, and they're putting out Windows 10, iOS, and I think Linux support testing currently for xCloud, which is quite good. Sorry, it's actually called Game Pass Cloud, but I don't like that.
So, is that what it's actually called now?
I think it is.
I've still been calling it xCloud.
It's xCloud.
It makes sense.
It does.
It's
but
xCloud on Xbox Game Pass.
There's also talks that Valve and Nintendo are possibly looking at adding Game Pass to their consoles and their platforms. And I don't really get Valve. I understand Nintendo, but surely if you've got a PC with Steam on it, you would just download Windows Explorer and then just download... I don't get it. Do you get it?
I'm guessing it's going to be a sort of... If Game Pass is on Steam, it'll be the people that don't have Steam.
Maybe
who have got into
the
PC.
Launcher, maybe?
Yeah, basically be... I'm guessing, this is purely me guessing now, it'll be like sort of integrated into Steam, so Steam is the launcher. But that means if you go on Steam, you'll see deals that are from Steam, so there's a chance you'll buy something from Steam.
That does make sense.
The Nintendo one, though, I really want to happen. Because they've been teasing stuff with Nintendo for bloody ages now, and
didn't they post a picture with Master Chief and Mario a few days ago as well?
I'm not sure, I haven't seen that, but it's been a good year or so that they every now and then just do a little tease, and I really want it because I'd much rather play my Xbox games on the go using my Switch and a proper controller than my phone.
Yeah. I'll agree with you on that one. And the Switch Pro is apparently going to be announced at E3, so it could be part of that announcement because Sony aren't at E3, but everybody else is. So
yeah, that's an odd one still to me because they haven't. I don't think they've said anything about a state of play that's happening at all around that time either. So they're just
I wonder if the Switch Pro will still have Joy-Con drift.
Only one way to find out.
Yeah, well, I ain't fucking buying it. I don't play my Switch enough as it is anyway. I don't think I've picked it up in a year.
I'll end up buying it.
Yeah, I know you will.
All my money goes on gaming.
You've got a Series X and a Series S. Of course you're buying a Switch.
And a PS5 and two Switches.
Yeah, so yes, you'll buy a Switch Pro, and then you can tell us all about the drift.
To be fair, I haven't got it on any of my Switch Joy-Cons.
No, me neither, to be honest. But I haven't really played my Switch very much.
We're just lucky.
Because Breath of the Wild is massively mediocre, and Mario Kart is Mario Kart.
Should have been playing Octopath Traveler.
I should have been. And you even told me to, and I even downloaded the demo and never played it.
Oh, I didn't even know you downloaded the demo. That's what I played non-stop before I bought
it. Never played it. Ugh.
So good.
Should we move on, Shaun, to our final Game Pass or play of the season?
Yeah, why not?
Because I was quite kind to you, wasn't I?
You actually was. It hit me like a truck. Wasn't expecting it.
I didn't give you a roguelike. You gave me a fucking roguelike.
Well, because I thought you liked roguelites.
I do like roguelikes.
But not this one.
Maybe not technically this one. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I want to hear about Dirt 5. How was it? Was it good?
It's good.
Oh.
But there is actually a but.
Oh, God.
I wouldn't call it a dirt game. Like, if you're going... Yeah, but it might be me just misremembering dirt games. So basically, my two jams, as you will, for gaming is platformers and racing games.
Yeah.
And I love the old dirt games. So the old dirt games. We're on 5, so I've loved 1 to 4.
Dirt 3 is my favourite.
It's really arcadey. So
really?
Yeah, but it's still fun. It's just if you're going in expecting how dirt usually feels, it won't feel like it. So I done what I usually do with my racing games. I turned all the assists off. So I had ABS off, I had manual gears, etc., etc. And it didn't feel any different. I could go full lock into a corner and just fully accelerate and I wouldn't spin out or anything. I'd just sort of nicely drift.
Chose Dirt 5 for you is because I know that you like racing simulation games more than arcade racing.
Well, I still love arcade racing because I love Need for Speed and all that still.
Yeah.
But the only other thing is...
If you're after a good rally game, WRC 9 is £3.50 at the moment.
Well, Dirt Rally as well is apparently really good, and I've never got around to trying that. They've apparently gone full-on simulation with that. So I want to try that. But it's also really easy. So on the hardest difficulty, I was winning by 8 to 10 seconds each race as well.
Right.
But
so it's not very dirt then.
But it doesn't feel like dirt. So sort of just... It's still fun. It's a really good fun racer. Just drop any remembering of how you think dirt's going to play.
See,
so you don't go into the first few races that don't feel right.
The thing I like about Dirt the most is that it's easy to pick up, but it's difficult to master. And Dirt 3 was, for me, the prime example of that, because it had the Gymkhana levels. Because it was when Gymkhana first was a big thing, wasn't it? Dirt 3 came out. And they had that Ken Block level where you just had to hoon around a car park at Battersea Park for a while. Now, that Gymkhana section was easy to complete it, but very difficult to actually master it.
Yeah.
Similarly, with the actual rallies themselves, they were easy to win, but they were difficult to actually master the courses. So is this just a case where it's just you win, you don't really have to do much? You can just hoon it as fast as you can, turn in as late as you want, slam the brakes on, and you'll just get away with it.
Sometimes you don't even need to have to brake, to be honest. There was a few circuits I managed to get around without braking, but The one thing I didn't try was the Gymkhana, because I'm a very old man sort of person when it comes to racing. So like my driving style is very clean, like brake, turn, is that right? I hate drifting, apart from in like I don't mind it in rally in the sense of like you drift around one corner and then the rest is sort of normal driving. But I can't stand, for some reason I can't stand Gymkhana, and I can't stand drift races. So like the Forza Horizon sections where you have to drift through every corner.
Oh fuck!
I just can't stand it. It's not racing. It's not driving. But
no, it's not.
But the one good thing about them going arcadey is the tracks can be less realistic, I guess.
So they're a little bit.
So there's like an Asian
fun.
track, and there's a part. It's probably my favourite part of any of the tracks where you go through a like bamboo forest, but there's all these like red hanging lanterns around as well, and in nighttime that looks absolutely stunning.
So does it look good?
The tracks look really good. The cars look a bit dodgy. They look a bit plasticky, but the tracks, the weather system that they've done for it look amazing.
So do you think possibly they focused a little bit too much on the weather system and the environments and not so much on the actual driving aspects of it? Because obviously it was a game for the next gen, so do you think they focused a bit too much on making it look next gen rather than sort of like tweaking it and getting it to be the best racer it could be?
No, I think it's just more that they lean too much on the arcade side for me. Because the driving is really well done, and it's really responsive, and you still feel like you're doing what the cars do on screen. It's just not, there's no sort of skill, I guess, or like no simulation side to it.
That's a bit frustrating.
It's a bit annoying, but it's
then
still
if you go
good
into
fun.
it knowing it's an arcade racer, not a dirt game, then I guess sort of can be forgiven a bit.
It can be a little bit forgiving, but if you're like me, where you'd like some simulation at least to the like dirt games, don't expect to sort of do everything, because I imagine I've still got it installed and I'll still play it, but as soon as another racer comes out, I'll move sort of thing without thinking about it to that other racer. Whereas normally with dirt and Forza games now, I do every race, every event, unlock everything sort of thing.
Whereas you'll just sort of pick this one up as and when as you can.
Yeah, when I've got a spare few minutes, so I can't sit down on a like full length game, I'll do a couple races.
And also, quick resume tab is on its way as well, so that will help.
Yes, I saw about that.
Yeah,
that's gonna be good, because I never know what games I've got on quick resume yet.
And honestly, for us doing this show, it's going to be an absolute fucking lifesaver, quick resume tab.
Yeah. Although
you think we play 3 or 4 games basically on rotation.
Yeah. Although quick resume doesn't work half the time now for me, because I have the Series S. So if I play a game on the Series X and then I go to play it on the Series S, it's fine. But as soon as I go to play it back on the Series X, it has to close the game to sync the save data. So
right, okay.
But it still doesn't take long to build up a game.
That is the most first world problem ever.
It is, yeah.
If I want to play on my £500 console, I have to manually save it on my £300 console first. So that my
No, I don't have to manually save it.
So that my internet cloud save can probably work. Oh, mate, that's so first world.
I don't have to manually save or anything. It's just if it has to sync save data from a different console, it has to shut the game down and then reboot it rather than just quick resuming, which it makes sense.
Let me go and get the world's smallest violin for you, mate.
Thank you.
That's okay. Can I talk about Children of Morta?
Yeah, because
it's shit.
Yeah. You told me why it's shit, but I'm interested to know in detail.
It's fucking boring. It's boring, it's bland, the combat's shite. So it's a dungeon crawling hack and slash, right? But the combat is just run around holding the X button, and if you get hit on tough shit, blocking means nothing in this game. There's no skill to it. You just dodge, which you can't do indefinitely because it runs out your stamina. So you dodge once and then you just run into a corner and then you just wildly swing your sword or fire your arrows at skeletons. Mate, it's one of these frustrating things with roguelikes where you have to die to progress. So I had to keep dying over and over and over again to unlock the second character. And then I had to keep dying with the second character to unlock the third character. Then I had to keep dying to get coins to upgrade all my 3 characters constantly. And I probably spent about 6 hours just on the first level, and I am still not at a point where I'm a high enough level to beat the boss.
Right.
It is so boring. And I'm sorry, you don't carry anything over other than XP. Like, it's so bland. The story, I couldn't care less about. Your boyfriend runs away and your family try and save him. I don't fucking know. I hate the layout of the game. I hate the look of the game. The enemies. Oh, guess what all the enemies are? They're all spiders.
Oh,
great. You're in a cave and it's just all spiders everywhere. Spiders and skeletons. Really, really original.
I'll take that off.
What should we use? Spiders? What else should we use? Skeletons. Done. Boring, bland.
Bin bag spiders on the expansion.
Yeah. So no, I didn't really like it at all. I kept trying it to see if I could beat the boss, but you need to be like level 8 to beat the boss, and I'm currently level 3 across all of my characters, and I just... So, because it's got RNG involved, which if you're not aware of, that's random number generators.
Yeah.
Because it's very RNG, sort of one run might do really well. So one run I might have loads of coins, I might have barely any rooms with barely any monsters, but then when I get to the final boss, he kills me straight away, and then I'll reload, and because it's procedurally generated with random number generators, the next run, the first cave I go into, I'm absolutely swarmed and I die straight away. It's so bland, it's so boring, it is not a gameplay. It's probably my first game pass since Desperados 3, and at least with Desperados 3, you enjoyed it. I do not understand how people can get enjoyment out of a top-down isometric game where you have to continuously die to unlock a new character that you then have to just keep continuously dying. I don't get it. It's not like in Dark Souls where if you die, it's because you haven't sussed out how the enemies work. If you die in this game, it's just because you couldn't swing your sword fast enough and you were swarmed by too many skeletons. That's it. It's so bland. So yeah, not a fan of it whatsoever. Nowhere near as bad as the next game we're going to talk about, because at least this was actually a game.
I was going to say, before we move on to that one, so the whole family tree thing that it says about in the description.
To unlock all the characters, you have to just keep dying. But if you die too much, then you get stuck in this like weird limbo, and then another character has to come in to save you. It's so boring. It is... There's games that do it similarly that do it so much better. The game that I will always go back to that is the perfect roguelike is... I'm going to completely forget what it's called now. Into the Breach. Into the Breach. Into the Breach is the absolute perfect roguelike, and it's on Switch. And if you can, Shaun, buy it because it's brilliant.
But it's a roguelike.
It does that. It does roguelikes. It does roguelike really well because you continue as one character, and you can take all of the XP and all of the unlocks that you gain into your next run, but you also unlock new weapons and new armours and new mechs that you can use, and it's a genuinely great game. Children of Morta is not fun to play. There's nothing more I can say. It's infuriating. Why make a game where the main mechanic is that you're going to be shit at it for 6 hours? That's not fun.
I mean, that's kind of one of the base blocks of most roguelikes.
Yeah, I know, but at least in other roguelikes, the combat's good, or the platforming might be good, or the aesthetic might be appealing, or the story's good. Neon Abyss has just come out. It's a roguelike. Looks fantastic. Dead Cells is a roguelike. Looks superb. Pinpoint platforming, great weapons, great combat. Hades has been called Game of the Year, and that's a roguelike. Into the Breach is an interesting take that adds a time travel aspect to the roguelike genre, but also puts a like an Advance Wars style combat system on top of it. Children of Morta is just boring. So don't play it, it's boring.
Children of Morta.
Isn't that somewhere you go when you make a mistake and you don't want to keep it?
Yeah, but you have to avoid the religious people on the way in.
Yeah.
They frown at you.
They're pro-life until it's gay and then they hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, should we talk about Genesis Noir?
I nearly spit wine all over my laptop then.
That's okay. Should we talk about Genesis Noir?
Whew. Yes, let me compose myself.
Shaun, I'm going to let you run with this one. What were your thoughts on Genesis Noir?
Oh, okay. First off, it's not a fucking game.
Nope.
Like, I get the whole games are art discussion, because I do think games are art, and I'm such a biased person towards gaming that I always tell people games are the ultimate form of art, because they contain every form of medium. They have sound, like visuals, and just all the background
creativity.
Yeah, all the background stuff as well. That usually goes into one form of art. All of them have to go in for making games. But Genesis Noir is not a fucking game.
Nope.
There's zero interactivity.
It's a pointless click, is what I would call it.
If I had to try and find a genre to describe it, it would be point and click / puzzle. But the puzzles aren't puzzles, because
they don't make sense.
There's no puzzle.
There's no direction. The puzzle in the bit that I got sort of bored with,
the first level,
was plant a seed.
Yeah,
that's a puzzle, is it? Plant a seed.
There's no difficulty. The solution is painfully obvious straight away. So it's just basically, so like there's one bit, I can't remember if it's the seed bit or if it's later on. It might be the seed bit, where there's like, you got the sky in the distance with the sun in the sky, and what you have to figure out how to do
is rotating the analog stick.
Is rotate the analog stick, so the sun goes down, the moon comes up, the sun comes up, blah blah blah, and it just cycles through like several days, so the thing grows.
Yeah.
But there's nothing else to do, so it's blatantly obvious you have to do it.
Yeah.
It's not a game.
It isn't. I would basically say it's an interactive, pretentious Tate Modern exhibit.
See, I wouldn't call it pretentious.
I would. I would call it pretentious. It's trying way too hard to be art. It's trying way too hard to tell a story and to have its own narrative. It's fucking boring. It looks nice, don't get me wrong. Looks quite nice.
That's what I was going to say.
Well done to the people who did the aesthetics for the game.
If it was
looks good.
In an art exhibition and it had its own room and the bare minimum interactive elements were in there.
Like the sausage that pops out of the bean
Oh
can.
my god, don't even start me on that. I was pissing myself laughing remembering that when I was thinking about how to describe this game. But if it wasn't a game, because it's not a game, and it was in an art exhibition and it was like interactive, so you had the like seed bit and you used your hands on a touch screen or something to turn it, I think it'd be a really good art exhibition, because I like it.
The Xbox isn't an art exhibition, is it?
But it's trying to be a game, and it's not a game.
No, it's not.
It's not a game.
I don't know if you know this, Shaun, but I have been to the Tate Modern once.
Did you go with me? I went with...
No. You went with Adam and Taru.
Yeah, GCSE.
And that was where one of the exhibits was a sausage that would just poke out of a can of beans.
It was a can of beans, and every 30 seconds a sausage poked out of it. And there was also the most infuriating thing was a canvas, and all the artist had done was slash it with a Stanley knife. And
yeah, that was there when I was there as well.
I stood there next to I think it was Mr. Lamb, who went with us, and literally said, "That's not art." he gave me the most disapproving stare. I was like, "It's not."
When I went to the Tate Modern, somebody had stuck a mirror onto a canvas, and I was doing my hair, and some bloke came up to me saying, "Oh, isn't this art amazing?" I said, "What?" I said, "This exhibit, isn't it fantastic? Like, you are the art." It's like, "Mate, it's a fucking mirror. What are you talking about?" I said, "Is this an exhibit?" He was like, "Yeah, this is by this really famous artist," and started talking to me. And I was like, "Mate, there's loads of those in the toilets. I genuinely thought this was just a mirror. What are you talking about?" And I got really drunk.
Oh no.
And there was a chair.
Right.
That's the exhibit. There was a chair.
Yeah.
And there were people stood around drawing the chair. And I was stood there going, "What are you fucking idiots doing? It's a chair."
I like to think that there's some guy sat in like his own private resort in Spain somewhere going, "Fucking sold an IKEA mirror for 200,000.
What a twat. There was actually a story a few months ago where a janitor had just left his mop leant up against a wall, and he came back to like 5 people looking at the mop.
What has art become?
This game reminds me of the Tate Modern, because the people that are saying that they like this game are saying that they like this game because they think it makes them look sophisticated. Well, it isn't a game. It isn't.
No, it's not a game. But there might be... I can see there'd be people that would enjoy it, but they wouldn't be...
From a narrative point of view, maybe.
Yeah. But
nobody can turn around and say this is a game.
It's not a game.
It's not a game.
No.
And it shouldn't be on Game Pass, because games should be on Game Pass.
Yeah, it's just...
It isn't a game.
It's not a game. No. I know to technically be a game, you just have to be interactive, and you do have to interact.
My toilet's
with it.
interactive.
That can be a game in itself. Let's face it.
I push the flush on my toilet. That doesn't mean that it's a game because it's interactive.
No,
it's bullshit, is what it is.
It's just not a game. It's really not. It's an art piece, yes, but a game, no.
No.
What has art become, Harry? I remember.
It's become shit.
I remember going into GCSE and A-level art, being all excited because I love.
You got to do some paper mache.
I love art and creativity and painting and drawing and sketching. And then we got to Cubism, and all hope left my body.
There was one exhibit at the Tate Modern, and it was just 30 people stood in the hallway, all screaming. Just every 5 minutes, they would all just scream, and they did that all day.
Yeah, I hate the Tate Modern. There was one I remember. There was was it a wall? It was either a wall or it was like an arch over you, so it was like both walls and the ceiling. And it was just really quick, flashy, multicoloured lights. And I was like,
yeah,
this could give someone a seizure.
Yeah.
This is art.
So yeah, I'm not a fan of Genesis Noir.
Or modern art.
I'm gonna say it now. I can't even give this a Game Pass because it isn't a fucking game.
No, it's not a game. Also,
I would give this an art pass.
yeah, I'll give it an art pass, but not a game pass. It gets a... No, wait. No, I would give it a game pass because it's not a game. I wouldn't give it a gameplay.
Oh yeah. I would just say just don't download it. It's a waste of fucking time.
Unless you're not, for some reason you're listening to a gaming podcast and you're not a gamer, but you really like art and you have a family member in your house that has an Xbox, then download it because you'll enjoy it. The only other thing I want to say as well,
if you really enjoy sniffing your own farts, you'll love this.
only other thing as well, obviously you won't know it because you didn't finish it. I unfortunately played it before you, so I finished all of the fucking thing.
Yeah, it crapped out on me, so I gave up.
The story is supposed to be this woman gets shot,
but it's the Big Bang,
and it's also a story of the universe. So it goes from the Big Bang forward to like the Earth being created, and that it does that until about 3/4 of the way through, and then nothing from there makes fucking sense whatsoever, even story wise. Like the whole. It basically focuses on the universe thing, but that doesn't make sense because it starts going all weird and modern arty, and the whole murder storyline just gets forgotten about completely.
Oh, because that's like the big point of it, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's the Big Bang, so it's the bang of the gun that kills the woman and the Big Bang of the universe. But you, apart from the bullet trail being where you select the levels, nothing happens to this murder that the whole game is started from. Ah, fuck. It's not a game.
Are we done with that?
I hope so.
I mean...
It's ruined...
It's terrible.
It's ruined the words Genesis and Noir for me now.
Yeah, I can never play LA Noir ever again.
I
never ever listen to Phil Collins again.
I was going to say, the only way I can listen to Land of Confusion now is Disturbed's cover.
Yeah. How am I ever supposed to listen to the Tarzan soundtrack now?
If that Cadbury's advert comes on ever again with the ape, I'm going to punch the TV.
How am I supposed to sing Two Worlds, One Family by Phil Collins ever again?
No, because that was just Phil Collins. Don't you ruin Don't you ruin Tarzan for me.
That's okay then.
Genesis Noir ain't touching my Disney.
No.
But it's not a game.
It's not a game. Should we leave it behind?
I'm
Should we
just
forget about it?
Wine first. I need to calm down.
That's okay. Well, that'll move us on quite nicely because we've got some plans for the future of the show. We sort of touched on it earlier when we said how many listeners we've got. Shaun, can you quite believe just how many people actually listen to us?
No. Honestly, no.
It's mental.
I get amazed when like my parents listen to me.
Yeah, we've got 100 listeners a week. We haven't had a day since I think the 8th of February where we haven't had a listener. It's insane.
I never would have thought it would get like that.
I genuinely was thinking that we might get maybe 10 people a week listen to us. Possibly. And I thought that most of them would be just people that we know on Facebook. And then we created a Twitter account. And it sort of changed everything. And then we got banned off Twitter.
Fuck Twitter.
So then we had to make a second Twitter account. Good news though, Shaun. I reported a page and it got suspended because of me.
Did they deserve to be suspended?
They did deserve to be suspended,
okay. That's all right,
because they were sending death threats to people that I know.
Oh, of course.
And that's what it took. So death threats are the same as saying, hey, listen to my podcast, apparently. But I'm sort of shocked and amazed. I mean, we've spoken about a few of our sort of listeners before, but I don't get it. People keep listening to us. People keep tuning into us. We've got Paul, and we've got
wife of
Paul, and we've got Joe, who's another listener that I work with, Joe Granell, who is like always tuning in. We've also got Joe O'Connell on Twitter, who is like sort of always listening to us, which is awesome. We've got Carrie Gamerghoul, who listens to us and shares our stuff. We've got a new listener called Ellie, and she's 10 hours into Octopath Traveler because of us. She is called Miss Eloof, which is ELOOF on Twitter. She just posted out that she was playing a game on Game Pass, and I was like, hey, we play Game Pass, you should listen to us. And now she listens to us every day when she's at the gym, and she tells all her friends about us. It's incomprehensible. We've got Chris Parker, who has listened to us from the old podcast, who has carried on from the old Twitter to the new Twitter.
Oh, I thought you meant someone...
He's carried on.
I thought we met someone that listened to fucking Press Play.
No.
Jesus.
No, of course not.
That was a blast from the past.
You know, Jay Fons listens to us, and Jay Fons is someone that I respect massively. He's part of the RDX podcast with Colt Eastwood and Reaper Games, and they're massive. They're like these huge dudes in the Xbox world, and just little old us that talk about times we've shit ourselves.
And rant about Desperados 3.
Yeah.
Which, every time I've got a feeling that my feelings of that episode are vastly different to our listeners, because every time someone brings it up, they're like, favourite part, hands down, of season 1. I'm like, I've never been so closer to bursting a blood vessel in my life.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Shaun. Part of the reason I went so hard is because I could hear your disdain. And I was
silence.
Right, I've got him. Yeah, I was like, right, I've got him now. And so I didn't like it, but I did very much react from you.
It was just I think it was the boiling point, because it was 2 weeks of trying to get you to fucking play this game past the first level.
Well, you'll be happy to know that I won't be reviewing Desperados 3 in Season 2.
It'll be like an annual thing. Every September, Harry has to go back on Desperados 3.
Not a chance. Not a chance. We've got the McIver brothers. Throw something at me.
Yep.
Awesome dudes. We've got Tony V, Chicago Tony V, who has supported us so much through our show, who is someone who I massively respect. Yesterday, he released his 69th episode on 420, which I think is amazing.
Oh, Tony.
We're part of a podcast network, Shaun, that has BBC employees involved, and also has that UFO podcast in the network that get like hundreds of thousands of listeners. And then there's us. And I'm just amazed, and I'm gobsmacked. And I just...
There's all these like people who have genuine claims, like, oh, we get 150,000 listeners a week, or we're part of BBC, and there's us like, we kind of won an award once.
We think, maybe.
Oh my god, I can't believe it. If you said to me 15 episodes ago, I was going to say 15 weeks, but I forgot we used to be bi-weekly.
Like
15 episodes
6 months ago.
Yeah.
Because we came up with this idea about 6 months ago, and it was 3 months in the workings. Like, it took some time to get it together.
Yeah, we had all the lockdown stuff to navigate first. But yeah, I never would have believed the amount of stuff we've done.
No.
In 15 episodes is incredible.
And I know that, Duncan's not on the show anymore. He's got a lot going on in his life. His future wife's got a business. He works full time. It's a big commitment. But we got back in touch with Duncan after 6 years of not talking to him. Tom, he's like one of my closest friends now. We talk every day. He is such a huge part of my life right now, and we haven't talked to each other in 20 years. James and Sam McIver, part of the Throw Something At Me crew. James offered to give me a PS4 the other day because he wanted me to play God of War.
Oh, you should play God of War.
I've not taken it because I haven't got a second TV. I'm not as fancy as you, Shaun.
Does your TV not have multiple HDMI ports?
Yeah, but it would just sit there and not really do much. But I can't get over how far we've already come, and I'm so excited for Season 2. So, should we go through a few of the things that we've got coming up for Season 2?
Yes.
So, it is my mission to get a game developer to do an in-person interview with us.
Yeah.
We've spoken to a few people. We've got a few things in the works. I'm also pushing quite hard to get either a sponsor or a giveaway. And we've currently got 2 game developers that we're talking to, 2 indie developers that are happy to do some giveaways in the future. Can't even believe I'm saying that. On top of that, we are doing a rebrand. Now, me and Shaun are in the process of doing some designs, putting some ideas together. We're using all of your guys' feedback. We've heard what we've heard what you all like and what you dislike. We're working very hard. The problem is we have to make something that appeals to us personally, but also is still commercially viable and is then also easy to see on phone screens. It's very difficult, but we're getting there.
Yeah, it takes time.
And oh boy, it takes time. And on top of that, we're probably going to be launching some merch. And we're going to be helping to open one of my friends, Lewis's game shop. And we're trying to set up a retro gaming day. I'm excited.
I am. I'm also knackered.
Yeah. It's going to be nice because we're not doing a game in 60 seconds. We're not doing a game pass and play. We're going to have 2 weeks where we don't have to worry about anything.
Well, I'll be on the laptop every day of those 2 weeks, but
yeah,
I'm looking forward. It's going to sound like I'm tired of it, but I'm looking forward to getting the rebrand started because all the big design stuff is out the way then, so I can get back to doing our image posts and that as well, and designing some quick merch illustrations.
Because, we are just 2 people doing this in our free time, and we don't have a budget. We don't have a sponsor. We
need money.
The benefit. Yeah, we don't have the benefit of being able to just buy a new laptop or buy a new microphone or take a day to do whatever we need to do. We both work full time. I've got a baby. My partner works in a care home most evenings. Your partner Lucia has her own business that she's trying to keep afloat during the pandemic. We've got so much going on that I'm so glad we've got this podcast, man. It's just something to focus on in all this madness, I think is the best way to say it. But it's tough, and I don't think people realise how tough content creation is. It's full on. It's full time. It's a second full time job, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. And we have to be crazy as well because even though it's knackering, basically every morning when I don't have work, otherwise I start at 6 in the morning. But on my days off, where I'll wake up at 6:30 at the latest because my body likes to wake me up early now, no matter what. And instead of being I'll just take the day off today, I get up and while I'm making breakfast, I'm like, ooh, that could be good for the design. And I'm just straight in the office on the laptop again until 10 at night.
And one thing I would say is that although we don't have many reviews on iTunes, I think we've got 8 5-stars. Every single message that we get on Twitter, every single time someone tweets us and says, I listened to your show and it was great, it means so much to us because we didn't even expect to have 10 listeners a week, and we've got 50 to 60 loyal listeners, and it's growing every week, and it's really exciting. So let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
I'm excited. And May the 8th is when Season 2 will launch. So obviously next week we've got our off-season episode that we're about to record with our friend Tom. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
I can't wait, because it means I don't have to draw as much now.
But we do, other things we can't wait for, Shaun. We've got a couple of minutes. Should we just talk about a few games we're looking forward to?
Oh yeah, upcoming games.
This will be very quick. This is just a nice way to wrap up the season.
Yeah, these aren't necessarily Game Pass games either.
No. I know what you're looking forward to, Shaun.
Well, there's 3 games I could say this year at the moment.
Mass Effect.
Yep.
Ratchet and Clank.
Yep.
Ooh, what would be the other one? I'm not too sure. What would be the other one?
Really?
Yeah.
It comes out a day before our off-season episode.
Oh, Pokemon Snap.
Yeah. Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
It's been too damn long. for a Pokemon Snap game.
I mean, should we just say it now? Next week's a Pokemon special.
Yeah,
next week's a Pokemon special.
Ties in, yeah.
It's as good a time as ever.
Nothing to do with Game Pass.
So we've got Tom back.
We've
got Tom back. We've got my friend Dan, who is Pokemon Dan on YouTube. He's done a quiz for us, and we're going to do a Pokemon special. So look forward to that.
It's gonna be funny and fun to record, but I can't see us sticking to the timed script we've got, because
mate, I'm going to make sure that we do.
I'm a glass and a half of red wine in now. And
well, we have to stick to it.
And it's basically just 4 huge Pokemon fans coming together.
Yeah. I'll try my best to curtail it.
And some of the... Oh my god. Some of the... So we're going to have a game in 60 seconds thing, but with Pokemon.
But it's going to be called Who the Fuck is that Pokemon?
Yeah. I wrote down on my notes Pokemon in 60 seconds because I wasn't that bright at thinking of a name. Oh, some of the ones I fought for this.
See, I've only got a few, but they are really, really shit.
I only know one of yours that you basically just said as soon as I was like, do we do a Pokemon game in 60 seconds? And you just basically, you said one instantly off the top of your head. So that's the only one I know.
Yeah, I've got a few.
I'm looking forward to going into these not knowing. Whereas before we normally know both of our picks.
They're dumb. They're really dumb.
One of mine is so bad. As in, it's borderline offensive to some people.
Oh, God. Well, we've got that to look forward to then. What a way to end the season. Shaun is going to borderline offend everybody.
Not everybody. No, it's not. It's a very specific group of people. I can't say anything, otherwise I'll give away
that's
what
good.
It is.
Just insult one very specific group of people.
I'm targeting people now. No, it's... yeah. I could see why someone would find it maybe offensive. I don't know. We'll find out next week.
Fair enough.
If I'm not on season 2, I've been... It's been nice.
Been officially cancelled.
It's been nice knowing everyone.
Well, I think that's as good a place as any to leave season 1. Would you say?
Yeah. Except you want Hellblade 2. You can't wait for that.
Oh yeah.
We only done my games.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I can't wait for Hellblade 2 and Halo Infinite and Biomutants. They are my 3 games that I am pumped for.
I'm very curious about Biomutant because I still haven't seen any gameplay.
Oh, I've not seen gameplay, but I've been looking into it.
I don't think they've shown gameplay, to be fair, apart from trailers.
They've shown a few gameplay trailers, but no extended gameplay. So that is going to be dope. Very good.
Yeah.
And that's us for season 1, Shaun.
Oh, how time flies.
I know. Time flies when you talk about shitting yourself constantly.
I'm raging.
Well, Shaun, do you want to do the outro as a special treat to everybody?
I can do.
Go on. I believe in you.
Let me click my fingers. Get ready for this. Oh, that one hurt. Okay, so if you would be so nice as to follow us on Twitter at Gamers Watch Crew, are we now?
Gamers Watch Crew.
At Gamers Watch Crew. Instagram, I believe we're still just Gamers Watch Podcast, and Facebook.
And the same on Facebook although we barely use those. I had to put a post up the other day like, oh shit, we got a Facebook.
Yeah, I must admit I did kind of forgot about them last episode.
Yeah.
But I'll get back on them when I do the image posts again. So yeah, Gamers Watch Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. If you enjoy listening to us rambling, then give us a good review, please. And from me and Harry at Gamers Watch Podcast,
hello.
Thanks for the whole season. It's been
it's been a ride.
It's been a roller coaster, which is good because I've missed going on roller coasters during this fucking lockdown.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, we've got 3 rules for the Gamers Watch Podcast,
I've broken one
and
of them
it is
twice.
that we don't talk about COVID, we don't talk about politics, and we don't talk about the bare naked ladies. So to wrap up season 1 of Games Watch Podcast,
can we add a new rule for season 2 of we just don't mention Genesis Noir?
Yes, we've now got 4 rules.
4 golden rules.
So from everybody at the Gamers Watch Podcast, I want to say fuck Corona, fuck the Tories, fuck bare naked ladies, and fuck Genesis Noir. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
See ya.